What's going on, y'all? Married to Medicine Season 2 Reunion Part 1. Oh, pause. It's a special video coming up tomorrow, like around 10:30 in the morning. So look out for that. You know, it's a collab video with a few people. But fuck all that right quick. Let's get into this review, to this reunion. I was trying to follow along. It wasn't difficult to follow along, but I don't think I was really paying attention because they were just talking so much about the same shit all over again. But I will say this first part was decent. You know, they was catty as fuck. And I will say it was a little bit better than the whole goddamn season. Like, bitch, what? Okay. So, we start right off the bat. You know, they give a little synopsis of the show, how the whole season went. They introduce everybody. And then when they played the clip, this is how the reunion really popped out. They played the clip. When it got to the clip of them talking about Quiet having a little dog show or whatever, and then Jackie and them started started laughing at it. They was like, Andy asked Jackie, so what was the point? Why did y'all start laughing when he said what's her name? Quiet was gonna have the doggy the doggy fashion show. Jackie was like, it wasn't shade. It was just that when she first heard it, you know, sometimes you just can't stop laughing. She was like, oh no, I was laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. It wasn't nothing. Quiet took it in stride or whatever. She was laughing with Jackie at that moment because she was like, yeah, why wasn't you laughing? Why was you laughing? And, you know, Andy being Andy, I guess, I don't know if Andy thought Mariah was going to say some shady shit because he did throw that question over there to Mariah, like, what do you think about Quiet, you know, doing this doggy line or whatever? Mariah was like, well, bitch, it's $1 billion industry. Quiet said it's a $17.4 billion industry. I just want to get a part of it. I said, okay, Quiet. And Mariah was like, yeah, you know, she want to do what she got to do. I applaud her. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Go ahead. I'm here for it. I was like, okay, so we starting out cool, calm, and collected. Then they started talking about Mariah's little cinnamon girl thing. But before that, they said something about Lisa Nicole and her how she came up in her empire or whatever. You know, she's basically said she fronted the money 10 years ago, and now she got this big empire. Andy was asking, you know, what does her husband do as a doctor? And he was like, she said he does emergency medicine. And basically asked, does she make more than him right now? And she was like, yeah. And was like, does that cause a conflict in the marriage? She said no. Her husband is her biggest supporter, her biggest cheerleader. Now, when she said that, you go pan the camera down to Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly was like, Dr. Heavenly, bitch, I couldn't stand that hoe at the beginning because of that submissive ass shit and the way that she just, I think what it was, she just came on so strong, and she didn't ease us into her personality. Now, cause look, the bitch is funny as fuck, but she don't give a fuck what she say, and she stands by. And I can appreciate a bitch like that. And I ain't gonna lie, like I did not like her at the beginning because of that shit. Like she was just like, girl, ease me into this bullshit, because if you would have came at me like that, I would have been like, fuck, bitch, get the fuck out of my face. We ain't got to talk ever again in life, okay? First impressions is everything. And that's what it was. But then as the season went on, I was like, okay, Dr. Heavenly is a fucking key. If you look at it, she a shady bitch, okay? But, you know, then Andy asked, Mariah, do she take some business? Do she look at Lisa Nicole's business model to do her business or whatever, the way that she work her business? She was like, no. And Lisa Nicole, they was like, how do you feel about Mariah's stuff? Do she think do you think the Cinnamon Girl thing will be successful? Whatever the fuck he asked. And was basically like, you know, she can be good if she would start stuffing stuff, you know, forcing stuff down people's throat and all this shit. And I was like, wait a minute, what you talking about? Because I didn't see on the show Mariah, you know, saying, here, buy this, and do this with the cinnamon girl stuff. Lisa is talking about the fact that Mariah goes around saying that, oh, I'm the EP of the show, I'm this, and talking shit on Twitter, sending her the Twitter goons at people. Mariah was ever so calm and collected, like, bitch, I can't stand Mariah because I know what stuff that she's hiding back. You can just tell when a person is holding stuff back. And all these other people have come forth and said all this stuff and took responsibility. And even, you know, when you got a person like Funky Dineva who basically said that they the one that damn near jumped this whole shit off, you know, just come on out and say the fucking truth, okay? I just feel like she's holding back. And I will give this bitch her props because under fucking pressure, she don't break. She will not give you a fucking show. Well, she ain't give us a show tonight, okay? It was the Simone and Toya show. We will get to that. She didn't give us no show tonight. You know, even when she get upset or whatever, if she would have got upset and probably raised her voice a little bit, she still didn't go all out like she could have. This is irking me. Y'all know I'm particular about my shit. But I just don't like shit sticking up. But anyway, I can't wait till the grass I put in the ponytail and shit, and then put some, you know, different styles and shit. You know, just like I said, y'all ain't gonna tell me shit, bitch. I'm just saying. But anyway, I know y'all be like, damn, every fucking video now, ever since you got this shit up in your head, you be talking about it. I know. I'ma stop. I'm sorry. I just know the shit when I'm on camera. Okay. So after that, you know, she started saying, she was like, Mariah did get a little defensive, as she should have. But then, you know, sometimes truth hurts, and I'm pretty sure she does say that she was the EP, and everybody else want to start, you know, chiming in. Bitch, this whole damn time, I was thinking that Mariah was the executive producer for all seasons. She just said herself she wasn't the executive producer for the first season. I said, wait a minute, what? She's only been in for this season? And, you know, Toya jumps in like, yeah, she talked about so she was going to fire me and Carrie and all this shit. And yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here. And that Reed, that Quad said, bitch, you do not hire, you do not fire, nor do you sign my checks. I said, go ahead and say that shit. Mariah didn't engage into it. And I was like, Mariah know what the fuck she doing as much. Mariah just keeps her calm and her cool and all that shit. And let me just tell you something. With certain people, when they don't get the reaction that they want and they expect out of you, it irks them and it makes them more pissed off and riled up. And that's what it kind of seemed like it did to Quiet a little bit. And the whole thing is, that's what I kind of feel like it is. Because Mariah is not going to come on out and say that, hey, I did this, I did that, I did say this, I did do this to you, and I'm sorry or whatever. She's not going to do that. Okay? Not when you want her to. And therefore, she hasn't been doing that on the show and making a fool of herself or whatever. Well, whatever. Not being that extra and all that stuff. She's already extra, but not being extra with it. That's probably why Quad gets upset even more, because she's not getting the reaction that she wants. Bitch, I know. I understand that shit. I see that shit happen. I do that to some people too. Like, bitch, you want to get a rise out of me? It's just not going to happen. So you can just move fucking along. So I respect Mariah in that aspect. She know how not to act the ass well in some occasions. Because, bitch showed her ass at that state STK thing. And that was basically what everybody was saying. And in regards to the Quad and Mariah thing, I'm so tired of it. And, you know, everybody was basically spilling the beans about Mariah, saying Mariah was talking shit about Quad because Quad said, I heard shit that you were saying about me prior to all of this from multiple girls on this damn stage right here. And then Dr. Heavenly chimed in and said that, yeah, you know, she told me shit about you. Toy was like, yeah, she told me that you used to date a drug dealer and the drug dealer was her cousin. And then Quad was saying, now how the fuck does she know that shit when I ain't tell nobody but you? I said, well, damn. And then Quad said, yes, I did date the drug dealer. And yes, he was her cousin. I said, well, fuck. Okay. Mariah still was like, I said, bitch, you just ain't gonna say nothing. But then, you know, basically they try to make it seem like, you know, Mariah is running the show. Mariah, do I believe she said these things? Yes. But do I respect the fact that she ain't jumping up all on the stage and getting bucked and out of her character? I do. I respect that because, I mean, it is the reunion show and we want a reaction, but bitch, come on. Because this is beating a fucking, it's not doing nothing. if you didn't get a reaction on the show, you're not gonna get a reaction from her right about now. You know, she looks like the type of person that you wanna play me in public. I'm not gonna give it to you. We can go sit down and talk when I'm ready to talk. When she's ready to talk, that's what she's giving me. But it's like sometimes she probably can dish that shit out, but she can't take it because they was throwing all that shit. And I'm like, girl, why would they lie and say that you said all this stuff? And you still denying it. But hey, you know, if you want to say, hey, you didn't do it, that's on you. I guess we will never learn the truth of the matter. When Quad said, you stop telling lies and I will stop telling your truth, I said, well, good goddamn Quad. You know, they had their little lines here and there. And I was like, As like I said in the last reviews, I don't care about this Quad and Mariah thing. I really do wish they would squash it. And if they're not going to be friends no more, be friends no more. If they are going to work on it, work on it. I do think that, you know, they were close in the first season. And I do think it all boils down to a big misunderstanding. I do think it boils down also to maybe some envy and some jealousy that was going on behind the scene too. But when it first happened, I do believe that they could have worked that shit out. It didn't have to get this far, you know, and hey, I don't know. It's just a mess and it's being dragged on a little bit too much. And they even talked about Quad going off at the WIN conference and she was like, I know people was thinking that it was being those tears was fake and it was being dramatic and, you know, no, I was being dead ass serious. And even Dr. Simone said, you know, Quad was really hurt. And you could truly see it. The only difference is you couldn't really see it with Mariah. So you can't tell if she was hurt or not because she didn't show that shit. I'm pretty sure Mariah was hurt. She's just not the type of person that'll show her feelings and give you that reaction like I said. But fuck all that. And even Dr. Jackie was like, yeah, you know, we did used to say you was a puppet, you know. And I was like, well, at least y'all telling the truth about shit right about now. Okay. Then they start talking about Dr. Heavenly and her attitude when how she came acclimated with the group and the submissive comments and all that stuff and you know her and Dr. Jackie got into it a little bit where they was going back and forth about what's a doctor and you know Dr. Simone did feel some type of way, not Dr. Simone, Dr. Heavenly did feel some type of way, you know, like as she should have when Dr. Jackie said that she wasn't no doctor. I mean there's various doctors and people that have doctors as they pointed out, but you know, she's a dentist, she's still a doctor. When you go to the dentist, you don't say, hey, Mr. Something Something for your dentist or Miss Something Something that's my dentist. No, you say doctor, whatever your dentist's name is, okay? That's what you say. And it did feel a little belittling. And, you know, they was talking about the shit that they was writing on their blogs about each other. And Dr. Heavenly basically was dogging out Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone. But see, Dr. Simone and Dr. Heavenly, they worked out their issues. Now, see, Quad and Mariah, how come y'all couldn't work y'all out like that? You know, they work out their issues and they kick in with each other on the stage and all that shit. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. What else was important? I'm fast forwarding, trying to see what they talked about. I think I got that. They talked about the kids and the fast mouth ass kids. All them kids need to be popped in the goddamn mouth, especially Dr. Heavenly's daughter. And you know, Lisa Nicole wrote something on her blog talking about some Dr. Heavenly shouldn't have been teaching her daughter to be submissive, but teaching her to be a lady and everything. And you know, Dr. Heavenly went the fuck off. Like, I am teaching my daughter that, but I also teach my daughter that if you're going to marry someone, he should be the head of the household. If he's not going to be the head of the household, then what's the point of marrying him? You know, some people got different rules in their household and different definitions of what submissive mean. So, you know, Dr. Heavenly, that's what she believed. That's what she believed. You can't change it. You know, I feel otherwise. It is what it is. Then, if I missed something, it really wasn't important. Um, Once again, I'm fast forwarding to see if I missed some. Yeah, fuck all that. So we get to Dr. Simone. Let's get to the meat of this. The last 20 minutes of this episode. We get back to Dr. Simone and Toya. The season opened up with this little tension between Dr. Simone and Toya, you know. All because Toya was mad because, or felt some type of way, because Dr. Simone was dancing on her husband. Okay, that's fine and dandy. They was going back and forth on the issue once again. Toya was saying so, oh my God, when Dr. Heavenly said, when they was like, but you said that Toya was stupid. She was like, I did think that Toya is stupid because look at her. I said, bitch. See, Dr. Heavenly. But see, Dr. Heavenly said what a lot of us are. How many of y'all said that y'all thought that that girl was stupid too, or at least act stupid? She may not be stupid, but she acts stupid at times. She has her fucking moment. And that's exactly what she called that shit out on. That shit was hilarious because Dr. Heavenly didn't give no fuck. Bitch. Man. But, them two going back and forth about, the whole issue at the bowling alley, the touching of the husband and all that shit. And, Toya, Dr. Simone was trying to talk. Toya was talking over her. And then Dr. Simone getting loud like, can I speak? Can I finish what I was saying? Andy had to interject and was like, let her finish. Let her finish. And she basically was like, what I was trying to say is if there was any goddamn problem, if it was bothering you so bad, all you had to do was call me. Okay? I thought we was friends, you know, and I guess obviously from all of this, our friendship wasn't real. And so therefore, I don't care if we're not friends no more or not. You know, it is what it is. And Toya's whole thing is, we really wasn't friends like that. We didn't kick it all the time. We talked or whatever and all that shit. Do you know my phone number? Dr. Simone was like, no. I've known Jackie 15 years and I don't know her damn phone number. And I understood where Dr. Simone come from because all the people up in my goddamn phone, when I dial their number, I don't dial a guy. I don't look up a number, bitch. I look for a name. I don't know their numbers. I don't barely know my mama number, okay? Let me just tell you that. All right? So it is what it is. And some people memorize numbers. Some people just put that number in there, put that name in there, and that's all they need. So she was like, well, do you know where I live at? Do you know where I live at? No. Dr. Simone was like, bitch, you just moved. What the fuck I know where you live? I said, oh my God, here we go. And Dr. Simone got loud and she was like, well, I apologize for getting loud. And I was just like, oh my God. Did I mention, go back a little bit. Quad did say, no, when the Quad and Mariah thing, she did say, I think Mariah did apologize for anything. I don't think it was sincere, but, you know, she at least acknowledged it and apologized, you know, for her actions or whatever, or gave her a half-ass fucking apology or some shit like that. She did acknowledge it a little bit. So I don't want to miss that and say that she didn't say anything on it. But back to this shit. It was just so fucking childish to the point that Simone was talking so damn loud, being on the defense and trying, like, sometimes when you talk loud, people talk loud, they try to make it seem as if they win in an argument when they know they losing it. I don't know what this the case with Dr. Simone. Who do y'all think was winning this argument, was in the right, Dr. Simone or Toya? Because at one point Andy was like, you all up in my ear, you need to stop screaming. Okay, stop screaming. He was over it. And they was like, okay, we're gonna cut this shit. We're gonna cut this shit. I'm thinking it's done. They go backstage. Dr. Simone is trying to explain herself and the whole situation to Dr. Jackie like, look, all I was saying was, if you had an issue, just call me up. Okay? We don't talk like that. We don't kick it like that. But, bitch, you know my number. You could have come, call me up. Bitch, you could have texted me. Or you could have just came to my house when it happened or whatever. And we could have squashed that shit. Now, Dr. Simone, Toya was in her door listening to all this shit. And, Dr. Simone, her son was back there, sitting in the dressing room and all that shit. And next thing you know, once again, Toya and Simone gets into it. They have this loud shouting match going back and forth. And then it gets to the point where Toya was like, you know what? But I'm not going to do this right here with you. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to continue to do this because your son is in here. And I'm not going to argue in front of your son, okay? I'm going to be with you, not going to a better mother than you are. Some shit like that. I said, wait a minute. You don't do that. And I think that somebody was going to say something, that Dr. Simone was going to say something back. Toya, you was right for saying I'm not going to argue because your son is in here. And as a mother, I wouldn't want to do that shit in front of nobody's son or whatever. So let me just walk out. You should have just left it right there. But you had to leave that dig. You had to put a dig in and say, because be a better mother than you can be. You ain't have to say that line. That's what really popped things off. And then Dr. Simone gut checked her and said, bitch, oh, be a better mother from you, you raggedy bitch. You raggedy broke bitch or some shit like that. You renting stuff. And I was like, hold on, Dr. Simone. It's a lot of people that rent shit. It's a lot of people that lease shit. Since when? That's an insult. I mean, I guess in that. But still, what? What? Come on now, come on now. But I mean, I get the retaliation. So if you gonna dish that shit out, Toya, be able to take it. Simone, you go dish it out, be able to take it too. Oh yeah, Dr. Simone, that's what made Toya mad because Dr. Simone was basically like she didn't know. Toya was telling her, no, Toya was saying that Dr. Simone was like she saying that she didn't know that she was doing this and all this stuff with her husband, or she felt the way and she was lying about it. You know, we already know Simone flip flop sometimes. She do say stuff and then say that she didn't know that she said it or whatever. And we like, bitch, we just saw you on camera say this shit. But back to this shit. So Toya comes back into Dr. Simone's dressing room and they going at it. Like they going at it, screaming and all this shit. And I'm like, your son is in this thing. Dr. Simone, I really wasn't here for you to doing that because your son, at that moment in time, I guess she just said, I don't give a fuck who's up in here. And I guess your kids are, you know, used to this shit because I think they did remove him or he moved to another side of the room, but he was in that room. And I do think as a mother you shouldn't have did that in front of him, but I understood it, but still, you know. And Toya finna cry and all this shit. And I'm like, what you crying for? Because you didn't have to come to her room. You could have just went on to your dressing room and mind your business. Even though they was talking and the door was open, you was standing in her door. You just could have went to your own place. But you came up in here trying to see what she was doing and see what she was saying. You know? So therefore, you gonna put something out. She gonna put it out too. You better be able to fucking take it and quit all these goddamn tears. It is what it is, okay? You know? Hey. You dish it, be able to fucking take it. And Dr. Simone wasn't feeling it. Dr. Simone didn't give a shit. She was over it. They was all childish. It was just childish shit. And, you know, it is what it is. I don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. I can't wait till next reunion. Well, part 2. But y'all tell me how y'all felt mostly about. I truly don't care. When I say I don't care about the Quiet and Mariah thing, I think we're through with that. Fuck that shit. But on this episode, we mostly care. I want to really, really know your opinion about the Toya versus Simone thing. Was you here for it? Whose side you was on? Like I said, I felt like Simone, you know, she had a right to feel how she felt. Like if you had an issue, come tell me. You know, call me up and tell me. Don't wait and let that shit fester. Simone, Toya, you didn't have to be standing up in her door listening to what was going on. You could have went back and y'all shouldn't have been arguing. Dr. Simone, you know your son was in there. You shouldn't have been arguing and doing all that shit in front of your son. But you know, y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace.